Hello, this is Mr. McMurray, and back here with the laid results because we had to wait for our bacteria to grow. But if you remember in our soils, we had poured some agar and we had swabbed with the broth, beef broth, beef for beef broth. All right, and we had also swabbed potato agar and seeing if we see any difference in what grows on them. All right. So first of all, remember agar is the gelatin type stuff, kind of goldish colored on the bottom. That smell that you don't smell, and be grateful you don't, is the smell of bacteria in the morning. All right. So nothing like the smell of bacteria in the morning. Anyhow, but a couple things. One, bacteria. You can see all the different clumps. Put in front of me. It's a little better if you have some dark background. You can see all these little clumps. Now, many of them have grown together. Okay, when they first formed, see if I can find one that has some. All right, you see some clumps like this. Now, I don't know if you can tell really, but if you look at the side view, they do not grow down into the agar. Okay, they're just living off the surface. They're eating the agar, which is like gelatin. Okay, let me put it in front of me again there. Okay, and so anyhow, you can see where obviously we took some brush strokes with the thing, with the Q-tip, with the soil samples. Now, some of these little tiny circles are probably actual colonies. A colony is where you have one bacteria that divides in half, it divides in half, divides in half, till you have a clump. By the time you have a visible clump, you're talking thousands, if not millions, of bacteria. Okay, and they're all identical to each other. So that colony is really a clone. Okay, a clone colony. Sounds like a new Star Wars. The Clone War. All right. Yeah, but they're all trying to get that food. Okay, and so they're eating off the agar, but they're living off on the top of it. Generally speaking, they're kind of shiny looking. I don't know if you can really see that. Let me see if I can get up close there, but they're kind of shiny and they can be different colors. A lot of times cream, yellowish, a little off-white, but you can also have reds and different colors depending on the type of bacteria. All right, and this is on the beef broth. All right, and the beef broth tends to grow bacteria better, probably because we said bacteria tend to live on living things, and beef broth came from a living thing. Now, that's not the only reason, but there is. Now, if you leave these long enough, a lot of times they will eventually have some fungi that show up on it. I was thinking of a different one here. I don't see any fungi in that particular one, but they do tend to be better for growing um, bacteria. All right. This one's kind of nice. You got some over here you can see, like this one up here. It has kind of wavy edges on it, and that's characteristics that will be consistent with it. However, if you look down here, you can see this kind of fuzzy, webby stuff. That is a fungus. So you can grow fungus or bacteria, but generally speaking, the beef broth agar tends to. Same thing. We got some fungi, little fuzzy stuff down here. But if you see shiny colonies like that that grow on the surface, those are going to be bacteria. Now, on the other hand, in the potato agar, potatoes plant material, okay, and if you think about it, they tend to get kind of gross and squishy and stuff. They stay too long in your uh, potato bin, wherever you put in the cabinet, whatever, they can get very gross. And usually you see a lot of fungus growth on it when it does that. Okay, now these are some young ones. You can see some little colonies here. They're just starting to grow, but unlike the other ones, they grow down into the agar. Okay, they send out little threads, clear threads usually that you can't really see sometimes at first, anyhow. And then when those threads meet, then they cross, they send up little spores, and that's the fuzzy stuff that we see on the top. Okay, um, it's actually the fruiting spores. Now, like I said, anytime you eat bread that's, it's got mold on it, well, it's probably had fungus growing in it for several days. Okay, this one has some really nice clumps. You can see that clump there, for example, a bunch of little smaller clumps growing out there. All right, and I don't know, once again, if you can see that very good on this. We'll do it on this one over here. All right. If you look on the sideways, you can see how black the agar is. Okay. So basically, it grows down into the agar, and so fungi tends to grow through the substance. Okay. This is one that's had a very abundant fungal growth, but you notice how fuzzy it is. It's furry looking. Okay. These are fungus. This is a very healthy fungus. Like I said, you can see how it grows down at the agar, and the agar tends to be very black, okay, because all the different little threads of fungus down in it, okay? And so that's kind of basically the difference. You see in potato agar, You have your nice little clumps. All right, now there may be one or two of those are bacteria, but I really don't think so. I think almost all of those are 100% fungi. Okay, so they're fungi, funguses of different kind. They're all furry looking. They grow down into the agar, and they grow a lot better on the potato agar. Bam. Sorry you can't see this in person, but that's the way it is. Okay, but the smell, just to test the smell. Most bacteria are not really good smells, but uh, yeah, once you get used to it, I suppose. All right. Anyhow, that's it. Just wanted you to see that, and we'll talk to you later.